What's happening, everybody? What's good? It's Joseph R. Wheeler III, artist, founder, president of the ONYXCON Foundation. Welcome back to another live. We out here again. We doing what we do. We in the car, y'all. We working. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to survive in this crazy economy, crazy world. The reason why I started off talking about the work like I typically do. I mean, I let y'all know that because the kind of feed I do when I go live, whenever I'm in the car, most of the time I am working, and I want y'all to know that so that if I have breaks or got to take a minute because I got to push buttons on the other app and do all this, I got to do what I got to do. You know what I'm saying? You know, whatever's keeping the ability for me to keep gas in this vehicle and electricity flowing to this phone gets priority. You know, and I want to stress that today because the first thing I need y'all to do, if you understand all of what I just said for that intro, okay? And did I give y'all my name yet? Because sometimes I get on the habit of thinking, I'm so in the habit of saying it. I'm Joseph R. Wheeler III, the artist, the founder, and the president of this ONYXCON Foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit arts and creative lifestyle organization that is always rolling the dice in the art life, trying to survive. But we're going to stop trying and we're going to be surviving. We're going to be confident that we're going to be all right. Because guess what? Y'all going to help us get to the goal of full monetization. We ain't there. We got a little bit of a ways to go. And a little bit is still a chunk. But I've seen how numbers can jump and I've seen how things can go what I consider semi-viral. I mean, you know, somebody else, that ain't viral. Well, to me, it's viral because with the numbers I typically get, if something hits 10,000 above, our number one video today, to date, was a reaction video of me looking at a video of Chris Tucker tell a story, which was hilarious, and people love comedy, so I know why it hit so many numbers. And I'm gonna be doing more of those, but I didn't want to do. You know, it's funny. I was looking at another YouTuber I admire who has been monetized for a while, and they always, and part of their story is they tell you about um, how they got there and why they feel they maintain their status as monetized. And they were saying that, yo, sometimes we get something that goes viral, and we are happy that it went viral, of course, but we don't want to keep doing just that type of content. But we might need to. And they were saying that, and I was like, "Oh man, it hurt my ears just to hear," because I was like, "She's right. She's true. She's telling the truth." It was Sister Singh, Singh. She's black and South Indian and gorgeous. Oh my gosh, love to look at her any day. I wouldn't care what she's talking about. She's beautiful. But she's out there in LA, and I'm trying to remember the name of her channel. What she has a phrase that she uses too. Type of content she does, but she deals with self awareness. YouTube motivator. You know, she motivates people who try to do YouTube. All of that, all of that. So she's a great one to follow if you haven't seen her channel yet. I think I want to, I almost said her name, but I said, nope, that's not her name. I'm mixing it up with somebody else I know with a similar name. So all I do know is her last name is Singh. Okay. And she's really cool people. Really cool people. And, oh boy, what is going on? Uh, wow. Yep, yep. This is why I don't let the chat be open. I thought I was gonna do a test today. I said I'm gonna let the chat be open for a minute, which I don't do. I always make it where you have to be a subscriber to say anything. And every time, not that the intent behind this one thing I've read here is bad or anything, but I don't know who this person is. I don't know who you're saying. You want me to say somebody's name? I don't say people's names, and I don't know the situation. I don't know you. I don't know what you're about. I don't know if you're legit. I don't know if it's even a human being. I don't know if it's a bot. I don't know if it's a game. I don't know if you're playing on my phone. I don't do that. I don't play, man. I don't play. I don't play. This is a troll-free environment. I don't know why there's so many kitty brain people, no matter what age they might be, that think it's a game out here in this world, man. People on edge. People are just trying to survive. I'm one of them. Please don't think just because you see me smiling that it's easy over here. If you disrespected me in person, I wouldn't have no problem making you pay for it. I wouldn't give a damn how big you are. I wouldn't give a damn who you are. I wouldn't care what you know because you don't know who I know. And I know that who I know. And what more importantly, who knows me, and more important than people, the forces I'm in tune with. See, some of y'all hear people talk about spirits and energy, and y'all think it's a joke. See, I'm not religious, but I do have a connection to spirits and energy. You understand? You probably don't, because you wouldn't be doing the stupid shit you do if you did understand that. You wouldn't be in people's comments with goofy shit that has nothing to do with them, asking them to talk about things that you ought to know, man. You're talking to a grown ass man. This ain't nobody up in here playing with you. And this is when I gotta do the part I don't want to have to do every time I go live, but I gotta do it. I gotta go over here and say, who can participate? It says participant mode, and it says anyone. Hell no, not anyone, because anyone will get you just about anyone. So I go to subscribers, and then this is the stupidest button they have to me. It says any duration. Why the fuck would I say any duration if I'm asking for you to ban goofy mofos from being able to say anything? And then it says it has the minutes. It has 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. I don't want to give a fool just to get some watch time hours. But see, that's the philosophy that I don't like about social media. It's a cultural thing of it's in its own culture. It's this thing of it doesn't matter who's there. Everybody has a no. Everybody doesn't have a voice. That's the problem. That is the problem, people. That is the problem. Everybody does not have a voice. Some people need to shut the up. You understand? In life, online, in general, they do. And if you don't like what I'm talking about, no one invited you to stay. So I'm gonna always talk in my house, and wherever I am is my house. Online, in person, in my soul, in my temple, I'm gonna say whatever the fuck I wanna say. Cause I am the house. And wherever I am is my house. You understand? And you don't have to understand. Again, I say that as soon as I say understand, I know you don't. Because you wouldn't say stupid shit in people's comments or people you don't know. But you don't understand. Life has not gotten in your ass yet. It's okay though. Stick around. I promise you. It's coming. It's coming, baby. It's coming. F around and find out it ain't just a hashtag. I guarantee you it ain't just a hashtag. There's people out here that live for drama, but then there's other people who live for solutions. We live for solutions. We live for peace and prosperity. We live for betterment of the human entities, of us doing our best, being on the better side of life. That's what ONYXCON is about. I always tell y'all every time I go live, I say we're about the art life, we're about the creative existence. We are about living your best art life. First, you gotta understand what the arts are. You notice I made that plural. Arts, plural. Here's the definition again, reading from the gospel that I don't have to read from because I said it and I have spoken. It is any and every creative expression that appeals to the senses, all of them, including your sixth sense, is art, whether you like it or not. If it's genuine in its intent, if you're expressing yourself and it awakens someone's senses. Right now, every last one of you who've come in here and took a second of your life, a second. Now, if it was a split second and you left, it's okay. The art of my essence, just me, just the vibration of my voice. You didn't have to understand what I was saying. You didn't have to understand anything. You didn't like whatever you didn't like. I don't give a damn. I ain't got to be attractive to everybody. I'm attractive to the right people. I'm attractive to, and I ain't just talking about how I look. And I damn sure I ain't talking about on sexual shit. But now, ladies, welcome, and everybody else, set the hell up. I mean, I'm a straight man over here, but I'm saying whether you were attracted or not, something about my essence made you say, well, what's he talking about? If something in your mind started that sentence, what is, by the time you said what is, you said, I don't even care. And you swiped out, okay, cool, great, great. I wish more of y'all would do that before y'all try to say stuff because you're not genuine, right? But if you did say, what's he talking about? The art of me. I was created by my parents. I am a work of art. You're a work of art. Might not be art I ever want to see, hear, know of, or any, and probably won't, because there's too many people in the world that I'm going to know everybody. I never will. I don't even want to. Why would I want to in this crazy ass place? 8 billion plus. I don't want to know all y'all. I only want to know the people I'm meant to know. So you speak to the universe every day and you say, bring the energy that's right for me closer to me, and let the rest of it go about its own. And let nothing, I mean nothing, not meant for me, ever have nothing to do with my story. Because you know I will defend my story and my house at all costs. That's like our inner prayer every day. Universe bless. So yeah, I'm not on here on the play. I'm on here for serious love and good vibes and energy, y'all. And it's hard to do this day in and day out, especially when you're, dealing with real serious things in life and whatever. But hey man, I made a personal commitment to what YouTube could be in the journey of what I created long before I was ever on YouTube. I did ONYXCON way before I was ever on YouTube. This existed way before I was ever on YouTube. YouTube was already in existence, I think, by the time I started it. I mean, I forget what year YouTube started officially, but I know it was around. I didn't have a page always. I decided to make a page active because I had a page and it was not active. I was one of those people. You can get a Google. If you get a Gmail, all you gotta do is have a Gmail and you can have a YouTube. Everybody knows that. Or if you didn't know that, right? Because it's connected to, it's all connected to Google. It's part of that Google empire in its own way. It's all tied together, right? So you can get a YouTube just from being a Gmail user. And I had it for the purpose of the event when we used to do the event. And then I got to a point where I was like, you know what? I got this and I don't use it. What am I doing? Let me use this thing. This could be a great way of promoting. And even when I made that thought, I wasn't still seriously straight up YouTuber yet. Yet. It hadn't happened for me yet. I hadn't had enough time and I wasn't making the time to do that. You know what I'm saying? And hold on, let me see what I want to say here. Yeah, that's what we'll do. Okay, get rid of that bullshit. Okay, and to clear out a comment that didn't make no sense. It's like, and report it. Let me let y'all know something too, man. I'm not the person who don't use the buttons. The buttons are there for a reason. I test it. I test the app. I say, well, hell, I don't really think they're gonna do anything, but if they will, I want them to. If there's a way to penalize people who jump in comments and say insane shit. Oh, hey, you got a button for it? I'm a damn sure use it. Oh, that's what that does. That's the dispatch. That's the blow a fool away digitally button. All right, let me hit that. How many times can I hit it? Can I hit it more than once? Can I? Damn. Can y'all got a bazooka mode? How about a nuke? Can I send a bomb, please? Can I please? Please, pretty please. Anybody like them? Can we just wipe them off the face of digital Earth? I'm about that noise. I promise you. And I have no problem saying that because people need to know it's just that serious. You don't need to exist if you ain't contributing to betterment. You don't. You're just a problem. And you make more problems. And we got enough of those. People are protesting today in Minneapolis and been protesting because of serious problems that need to be solved with some insane and absolute insanity that has been attempted to be rationalized by a completely irrational regime that has painted nothing but a picture of despair over this entire nation and affecting the entire world since its first year of tyranny. And anybody with any bits of brain know what the hell I'm talking about, because I get tired of saying it outright. I sometimes want to be poetic. I've said it outright. Hey, anybody scared, I'll say it, but I don't even like to say the motherfucker's name. I really don't. I don't like to see their face. I don't want to say their name. It's like an evil omen that you don't repeat. Like, man, you say that, it's like you're contributing to the nightmare in its own way. So that's just, that's how I feel about it. So I avoid even mentioning them monsters. You know what I mean? Because they're not real. No, that's too much credit. I like real monsters. I like Godzilla and shit like that. That ain't a monster. That's a dweeb that wants to be powerful. That's what that is. And the sick part is there's other dweebs that want to be powerful, and you get enough of them together, they create their own form of power and corruption. And it's what I like to call, and it's very proven what I'm about to say, it's the money, then power, then respect philosophy, which has nothing to do with any form of real respect. It's all about money. It's all about controlling and dominating and, quite frankly, uh, forcefully taking resources and taking people's energy. They're vampires. That's what the fuck it is. Hold tight. Yeah, y'all. Then there's us who we on some Blade stuff. Shout out to Wesley Snipes forever and the original concept of Blade Marvel Comics. You know what I'm saying? We on that Blade thing. Like, oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? We got all the best powers of what vampires have, but we ain't vampiric. You know what I'm saying? We controlling our grew up in the vampire land, so to speak. So we got the powers, we understand the codes and how it all works, but we not really vampires. We fighting for we fighting for humans don't even want us to fight for them because they hate us too because they wish they had our powers. That's how it feels when you're doing what I do. That's how it feels. That's what I know is going on every time I'm online, and I get love, but I also get them weirdos that come out of nowhere saying stupid, crazy stuff whenever I open up the chat or something, or and I'm always reminded, man, you really, it's a real thing. There's no wonder you sometimes say, I don't run into a lot of these people every day. You probably do. This is the other thing I've learned. Like, check this out. This is a real one here. This is a serious theory. Have you ever, if you are a conscious, progressive, positive minded person that genuinely doesn't go out the door every day with ill intent for your fellow humanity, like you really do want everybody to just, do what you do, stay in your lane, I stay in mine, we live in harmony, we coexist. You feel me? And as long as you ain't messing with me, I ain't messing with you, and everybody be happy with whatever makes them happy. And just don't mess with me and mine. Don't mess with my family. Don't mess with my, my loved ones. Don't mess with my friends. And I won't deal with yours because I ain't got no interest in it no way. You know what I'm saying? Like, for those of us who are like that, right? Then there's other people who, because they've been broken, they've had so much turmoil in their life. They've never had order. They've never had discipline. They never had real parenting. They never had true friendship. They don't know what love really feels like. They're so bitter and so angry and this don't go with a certain tax bracket. This, from the, as we can see, from the richest regime leaders that say they run in governments, but all they doing is throwing a damn tantrum in an office that affects global procedures, okay, all the way down to hoodie, scummy, scallywag ass people. But the one thing I always tell, I say it all the time, scallywag ass, minded, backwards, lesser educated, so to speak, and all the other words that go with poverty, people are no different than wealthy people who have the same type of mentality. If you got the mentality, the only difference is one has no financial power in the game of putting money first, and the other one has all the money in the game of putting money first, and they use it for it to be distracting, to be a foil for all of their most ominous plans and plots, and you just see it play out over and over and over and over again in a repetition, right? So you start saying to yourself, you say, what's the counter? What's the antidote for this? Well, like I said, you've got to know that because so many people, even some of the folks I mentioned when I mentioned the archetype of being on the positive side, being progressive, even some of those people don't still have a full grasp of how much they allow the money first mentality to dictate their lives and destroy their lives and destroy the lives of others. And they don't put quality over quantity. They put quantity first. because they just feel like I don't want to lose. I think when you do the other, I know the other way is the better way, but if I do the other way, man, I'm gonna lose. I don't want to lose. And we all juggle this every day. At least I can admit, you juggle with it every day. You play with the thought of it. You're like, man, okay, what percentage of that other mentality do I have to add to be even understood, since I know most people are on that mentality? Even when they mean well, they still do it sort of kind of, because like I say, they just, well, that's the side where you're going to at least get something, and I got to have something, and I got to keep winning. And that's the game. That's the freaking game. So I know this is very vague, but you gotta, if you know a little bit of what I'm talking about, it all makes sense. I promise, to the right people, which is my only audience. I don't do this for anybody else but who would understand. I'm not speaking for anybody else but who would understand. I say it all the time, and I mean it. You know, I did my numbers a long time ago, you know, using the best of that medium, because I don't expect it to always be factual, but when it's on, it's on. It's got some good, you can use AI, I'm speaking of, specifically ChatGPT. And I said, well, here's my numbers right now on YouTube. I said, based on these numbers and my current progress and what I've been seeing month to month to month, my pattern, and I do this all the time just to get a sense of when I might monetize. And one thing I know is I'm going to monetize this year based on everything it shared with me about, if I keep doing certain things, which I naturally do, you're going to get it. Don't worry about that part. So, I mean, it's still something to worry about because I want it so bad, but it's going to happen, right? But I said, based on these numbers and the population of the world, what percentage of people, if they were aware, because the problem is awareness. Most people don't, the majority of the world don't know nothing about ONYXCON. They never even heard of it when we were doing the event. They don't know we exist. But I said, if the world, like, you know, we were on every billboard, we were on enough billboards to be noticed, we were on the TV, radio, those things that everybody looks at and sees and whatever. And I don't care what country you're in, there's some form of media, right? Ad at the bus stop, a flyer, whatever. But if everybody at least had heard the name once in their life, I said, based on the current patterns I have, the current numbers, what percentage of the world population would probably subscribe? And it said, roughly, this is rough estimate, 275,000 people. That blew my mind. That blew my mind. Because it literally was what I was already guessing when I fantasize about, you know, the beginning of a successful YouTube journey. I've often said, yo, if I could just get to a few 100,000, I did it. And if I get to 100,000, I did it. I'm good. And if they stay, like, you know, because I know what it feels like to have a number that pretty much, it fluctuates, it goes up and down, it wavers. I'm dealing with that for the last, 3-4 years, at least 3 years, I know for sure, on Instagram. I always say we have 17,000, but technically we got 16,900 and whatever it is today versus yesterday. Like, it'll be 934, then it'll be 951, then it'll be 982, then it'll be, I'm saying that, you know, 16,000 plus that, whatever that 900 is, always fluctuating the other numbers after it. So it's hard for me to get back to a solid 17,000 for some, you know, goofy ass reason, but I don't even sweat it. I'm like, because I also made a decision about that. I said, well, I had to be realistic about my people, on the energy of the people who are currently following versus people who are subscribers, meaning they put some money down monthly on my Instagram, my main Instagram account, because I have multiple Instagram accounts for the specific topics of stuff we cover. I got ONYXCON Outdoors, ONYXCON Rides, ONYXCON Fitness, ONYXCON Style, ONYXCON Outdoors, ONYXCON Hotties, HOTTIEZ, celebrating the beautiful women of the world and their talents. Not just how fine they are, but yes, how fine they are. But not just that, their talents, their actual skills in various things. They've got musicians on there, painters, drawers, poets, fashion designers, not just wearing a fit all the time, but hell, even stylists, and being stylish is an art. Okay, so ONYXCON Style, hello, yeah, you know. So I'm about that life, right? Art life, as I tell you all the time. And I see how the numbers are going to always be something you can't bet. it's going to be one way or another. You're going to always see it go up, go down, go all around. But if you get in that pocket where, man, I can safely say I got about 17,000, and it's a real number because it doesn't change that much, that's a very, very good place to be, I've learned, in terms of at least having that bit of you got to have something, man. You got, I mean, when other stuff ain't working or you ain't reached a certain goal you're trying to get, you know, every man, every woman, you need some integrity. Integrity is built off of security. Security is built off of solidarity, commitment. People showing you they're there. They may not be active, and that does get on your fucking nerve. I know it gets on mine. Like, yo, can I get y'all active, though? Can I get y'all to participate and realize what else we could do if you would just subscribe? Like, I told my people on Instagram years ago, I said, look, with the numbers we have, and I did a calculate, you know how you can do a screen capture where you video your screen and show, you know, so I did a video capture of my screen doing calculator. And I went on calculator and I just literally put in the actual number. I didn't even round it up. I said like whatever it was at the time, 16,900 and whatever it is current on the to the minute followers of that page, right? Times, what's up? I see the love going up. Appreciate that. I said times, you know, the monthly. And when I basically the bottom line is when I broke it down, do you understand we already, I always say we have it because I do believe in alternate universes and alternate dimensions. And in an alternate dimension, we already on our Instagram, okay, we already have a monthly budget, okay, monthly budget of so much money that we're millionaires already. I'm a millionaire for ONYXCON on Instagram already in an alternate dimension where everybody does what I wish they would do. We got the funds I need to make this thing anything I want it to be. I mean, literally anything. The problem is, as I keep saying, there's just not enough people who understand that every time I say it. There's a few, and it's always going to be a few you start learning as you do this stuff long enough. You'll get a crowd to be there, but only a few really love you and love what you're doing enough to really back you up and support you, and you don't have to worry about them betraying you, disrespecting you, going wayward, being weird out of nowhere. Those them core people, and it's so hard to find those people in life, period. That's with anything. That's with any damn thing. But when you're doing this, particularly this social media thing, good gosh, that's hard. So I'm not so impressed all the time by numbers other than every time the number goes up, I'm happy because for every 1,000, there may be 10 that are real. So I'm happy with the 1,000 because to me, all I see when I see 1,000 is, oh man, I got 10 real ones. You know, and they know who they are. And that's the funny game about it because somebody might hear me say that and they catch something else. Oh, really? You don't care about my, well, I'm going to drop off today. I'm going to unsubscribe. Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. You've just proven my point. You're not one of the real ones. Only the real ones would not even be offended by that. They understand everything I'm saying. They're like, yup, that's exactly how it is. Some people just want to be at the party just to say they were at the party. Other people want to help you build the party. Other people want to help you clean up and set up for the next party. Other people understand this is work and this is a job, and if you're going to enjoy it, if you're going to eat from the garden, you have to help build the garden. You got to help till the soil. You got to help throw the seed. You got to do the rain dance with me. You got to bask in the sun when it's glory day and we all harvesting because you worked for it with me. I don't need nothing but those people. Those are always the most important people. Those are always the only people. And this is tried and proven through human existence. This is just how it works. People ain't gonna just, you know, people love a party, man. Everybody, when they say, oh man, what they doing over there? There's a lot of people over there. So like I say, I like the number because it brings the numbers. If you got numbers, it does bring enough people for you to find out who's real in the crowd. But you got to do crowd control. And that's exactly what I do every time I go live. And it's hard to do it every time because sometimes, here's the funny thing, like if every time I don't push that button and say restrict who can say something in the comments, there will be no chat unless you are a subscriber. Every time I do that, there is no chat. It's basically, it's almost obsolete. Now, every other day or so, like maybe 1 out of every 3 days, from me doing that, I might have one person I already know hit the chat and say something. I know who that is, so I shout them out and we laugh, and that's good. That's a good feeling, right? Like whoever that was in here today, whoever those two people are that put the thumbs up, thank you. Those are the ones I'm talking about. And whoever that was, they could have probably was one of those that did the thumbs up. They started putting up some hearts. They showing love. I mean, that's always the same. It never changes. It just changes ratio. So what's 2 right now, years from now, will be 200. But it'll be 200 out of 10,000. You understand? It's just that real about it. There'll only be 200 out of every 10,000 that really are there with you. Like those are the people that you could really meet in real life, and they'd be just as cool as their energy is online. Those are the people, man. And those are the only people who are gonna ever send some money. Those are the only people who are gonna ever subscribe. Those are the only people who, if they ain't even got no money yet, they would give you money if they had it. As soon as they get it, you'll get a check out of nowhere. I've lived it, man. I've lived it. I'm not making this up. When I talk about respect versus power, all this other shit, you gotta put respect first, then power, then money. You gotta put respect first. I'll never forget, like right now, I'm in a similar feeling of I need finances because I took a major hit from taking off 3 days, well, 4 days technically, because of the threat of the ice storm. That was a real threat. It did do effect. It didn't even come. The ice didn't come. The snow didn't come. But the wind and the cold created issues in the city of Atlanta, in metro Atlanta, and all over throughout the region, and all over the state. People are still without power right now as I speak, because lines got knocked down by the old trees that, when it gets cold enough in Georgia, shit snaps, crackles, and pops. It's 2 things that are cracked trees in Georgia that I've learned in my life. No rain will fuck you up, some drought when it get hot as hell, and man, it'll start fires like it can in California. It can do the same thing in Georgia. It doesn't happen as often by no means, but it has happened, and it can happen again when it get too dry if it's not enough rain. Then, okay, you got enough rain, but then let it get too cold. Oh my gosh. An icicle hanging off the roof of your house, if the wind blows hard enough, what does that icicle do? It cracks and it falls to the ground. That's exactly what happens to trees when they get frosted. They get heavy with a whole bunch of drips of ice on them, or just something you can't even see, but they're like literally frozen. And the harder they get because of that. And then the wind, but if they're old and they're brittle already because they're dying, because trees get old and die like everything else, they crack, they fall, they hit power lines, they take out people's, they kill, it can kill a person. I mean, it's really bad. It's really bad. And that doesn't make me hate trees. It's just humans have to have a better understanding of propensity to them. You can't, I've said for years, I learned from my own life. I already told this story, I'm not gonna tell it again, but I used to live in a very old house built in 1940 when people used to believe in living up under what they call a shade tree, which is where the phrase shade tree mechanic come from, where somebody who fixes cars and always have a bunch of cars in their yard, and they doing it right up under some big ass tree. So that's where that phrase came from. But the shade tree culture in general, in the South especially, is a real thing. Like to this day, there are neighborhoods where all the houses are built right next to these really old oak trees, especially big oaks, because the oaks spread out so big, they cover a lot with their shadow, so you get a lot of shade. But none of that makes sense for modern building, and it damn sure don't make sense for modern living. You got all this electricity in your house, you got power lines and stuff running to your home that can easily start fires. I mean, even when it wasn't any of that stuff and these people thought it was the big way to do it, it made sense a little bit, but not really, because they did it for their time, and people's lifespan at different times was shorter. People used to live to be, when times were harder and stuff in the agricultural era, some people didn't live but to like their 30s, maybe 50s and shit, but look old as hell, some of them. I'm not saying everybody, but it was a tough time. So life expectancy wasn't long. People weren't living as long. So you ain't worried about when the tree gonna fall, because shit, the tree was healthy when I started building my house, and it'll be there long after I'm gone. And that's literally what happened. Like I said, this house that I was in was 1940. I'm living in it in the 2000s. Well, shit, It took that long. The tree was 80-something years old, y'all. I kid you not. When they cut it, I'll never forget, we counted the rings because I had to have it cut because it was going to fall on my house and it was dying. And it was going to end up being a serious threat to me, myself, my family. I was like, oh, no, we're not doing that. Had to put the money down. But I tell that story a lot because it's a good metaphor for learning. Yeah, everything has a course of life, but you can't be unrealistic about. Some people, we get all into the idea of something, not the reality of something. We want something so bad, but does it make sense in your lifetime? And then by the time it doesn't, your lifetime is over. That was 1940s to whatever for those people. Okay, now it's 90. By the time, shit, man, that tree may have started having its issues in late 90s. And I had no business living that close to that tree, but didn't understand that. I grew up thinking, man, that's some southern stuff. It ain't no big deal. People always had hot trees next to. I didn't realize how dangerous that was. Okay? And we're seeing how that's still an issue. So it's not the tree itself, it's human propensity to things. It's how people want to put themselves next to stuff they like, but not be realistic about what comes with it for the maintenance. There's a lot involved with living and where you live and how you live and the materials you use to build, and all of those things matter, man. There's stuff that, I was watching some video the other day talking about millionaires and all these celebrities and these millionaires and how they bought houses that they had renovated, and they did all these what sound very extreme things done to the house. Like one person had I would mention the names, but that'll get it off on other topics. I don't want to go there. I just want to say what the thing was. And it's funny because I've been in this house on some movie stuff. I did a show one time where we filmed at that house, and I laughed because I was like, yeah, that is that house. I remember that. And that's true. That person did buy that house at one point. But what made me laugh is this is like a modern video. They were talking about celebrities and where they live. That guy don't live in that house no more. He been sold that shit. He bought it from somebody else. Now he done resold it. But it's a real big mansion, and he had it extra reinforced on this bottom. The bottom structure that actually holds it to the ground with like extra steel and stuff, they said, to reinforce it if there were ever an earthquake. Now, this is in the Atlanta area. Now, somebody might laugh, y'all don't even have earthquakes. We've had earthquakes. We never had a really bad one like California style, but we've had earthquakes in my lifetime. It happened twice so far in my lifetime. But I remember the one I remember, because the second one, I didn't even feel it. I remember somebody was talking about, I said, damn, I didn't even feel it. It was, just tremors. But the first tremors, I'm talking about, I woke up, and you just, stuff was on my shelves and stuff doing like that. I said, the fuck? And it was just like a constant vibration, and it would stop and then start again a little bit for a minute, and then it was over. But I said, what the fuck? Ow, I was not ready for it. Because like in all my fear of that happening in LA when I go out there, it's never happened. I see the effects of how much it happens with the sidewalks and stuff. You got areas where the sidewalks all uneven and they always having to repair them or not repair them. People ain't, neglect it and just don't do it. But yeah, man, it's yeah. But over here where, we don't get that, but we could. And there's been some not meteorites, whoever the people who study earthquakes have said, hey, if it ever did happen in Georgia, it would be really bad. Because we are on a fault line in the Atlanta area. We're on a fault line. It's less chance, but if it ever happened, it would be really bad. It's kind of shit. I said, God damn. So this person, I guess, having the money, they're just like, I'm gonna be prepared for it. If I could live through it, or even my children or whoever after, if I'm gonna be here, if I'm gonna buy this house and restructure it for my living purposes, it's gonna be the best it can be for any situation. It's bulletproof windows, earthquake ready, tornado ready, anything ready. I like that mentality for when you got that kind of money. It makes sense to me. Shit, why not? I saw a video the other day, and I put this in our playlist. I have a special playlist for ONYXCON style, where I say ONYXCON style architecture. So if you're interested in this topic, look at that. Okay, check that out. And they were interviewing. It was a guy for, I don't know, was it Complex or what? I think it was Complex. He was interviewing Travis Scott. Musician, rapper. Travis is a very talented brother. I ain't gonna say I slept on him. I didn't realize just how talented until recently. I'd say last summer because I love 4x4. That's my jam. I love that track. 4x4, I turn my windows up. Yeah. And his videos, man, when I saw his videos, I said, this brother is creative. He get with real artists and do videos. He don't just do, I like people who understand a music video is a work of art and it should never just be just, I just did any old thing and it's all, look like any other one that anybody else did. Just your version of it. It's boring as hell and same old shit. No, he always does something out of pocket, unexpected, and it's cinematic. This thing is like a little movie. I loved it. I love the video for 4x4. I like the song. But after hearing him speak, he was at a house that he was considering buying. It was this big mansion, obviously somewhere in LA, and this thing is all concrete. Now, I first thought for some people, they'd be like, oh, why would I want to live in something that sounds like it's a damn prison? Yeah, I agree. It does sound weird, and some of it looked weird. But when I saw it, I said, that's a badass house. Because it's a modern style, and I love modern style. But it's unique because it had all these things about it. Like once the furniture, when I was looking at rooms that had not been furnished yet, because like I said, the house, it's been staged, so they have a few rooms where there was still furniture and stuff, and other rooms didn't have much. When I could see the furniture in it, I said, oh, that's dope. Now by itself, yeah, it looks kind of industrial and bland and not so sexy, if you will. But you put some furniture, the right furniture in that mug, man, when I tell you that house is badass, I said, this is, yeah. And he was breaking down, his philosophy on why he might buy it or whatever and why he liked it. And then when the guy who was the interviewer, who actually ended up being from Houston like him, and they didn't know that, and so they had a moment, dapping up like, oh man, hometown, like that's what's up. But he really, really, really is a smart dude that's into a lot of different types of art. And that's when I said, okay, see, I could be a fan of this brother. Because all this stuff don't appeal to me because he does a little bit of the ratchet type, trap type. But once you hear this man talk, you say to yourself, okay, maybe product of his environment, early life, that was what he had to deal with, so he put it in his music. But man, when I tell you that's not him, that's not who, this dude is a total blurred. He's into all kind of movies and stuff, and I mean deeply and well-spoken. He ain't no, mush mouth, blurry, slurry, none of that. That man speak like, he used to running the office when he do his meetings and presentations to get his money. He know what time it is to move on a different level. And he know how to do it professionally and sound professional. He really is that dude. I was impressed. I was very impressed. I said, God dang, I didn't know he was like this. I had never really seen him in an interview. It was dope. So if you ain't never seen that side of Travis Scott, check that video out. Like I say, it's in the architecture thing. You'll see the house that I'm talking about. You'll see, how he's potentially living. And I dug that because that fits a lot of what we say with ONYXCON style. It's not just about what you wear and everything. It's how you live in too. It's your home. It's a spaces, period, that you will do business in, do anything in. I love architecture too. It's a beautiful art. It's one of the greatest arts ever. And so we honor that. We honor all the arts here. That's what we about, y'all. I tell y'all all the time, art life, right? And to that, I'm starting to wind down a little bit here. I'm actually feeling like I wish I could take a nap. But I'm waiting on this damn order, and I don't know when they're going to get it together for me because they taking their time today, wasting time. Lord have mercy, what's going on with time today? Damn, it's too... What happened is people ran out of them groceries that they overstocked. And I knew it was going to go like this. I knew this. But their clock ain't working for my clock because I should have been out here getting orders and getting money and not so worried about my bills coming up on me. But these folk done ran out of these groceries they had for what they thought was going to be a snowstorm, and it never happened. So now they hitting the store again. They doing the orders again. This is my like second order today, where for the past few days I ain't been getting none. I mean, I did get like one or two or three, literally like 3 orders maybe, from this particular app. And then I did another app that I do, and it's just way more work for damn near the same money and more time of your life. So which one would you do? Right, exactly. It's all about your time. Time is money. Yeah, man. Hold on for a second. All right. I checked it. They say it's supposed to be ready, so you need to come the hell on because I'm about to take this damn nap. I'm about to take a nap, y'all. I don't know what they doing. But to finish what I was saying, something I'm realizing, I'm gonna talk more about this more frequently to make y'all realize what this is and the potential of what we're doing with ONYXCON. You know, I was watching this video with I Show Speed and Mr. Beast, arguably the two most prolific, followed, and recognizable YouTubers in the world. For me, I Show Speed is more so that, because I didn't, until I saw this video, I had seen Beast before, but I forgot what he looked like. But seeing him again, I remember, oh yeah, that is him. Okay. But then, you know, if he grow a beard or do anything else, I don't be recognizing him. So he's still vague as hell to me. But anyway, the bottom line is they were talking to Terry Crews, the legendary actor, and doing kind of a TED Talk style thing. If you ever seen this, you know what I'm talking about. It was, you know, award show level, staged, really big, monitored, and everybody's images getting flashed while they talking and stuff. And they were talking about oh, okay. I thought you was bringing that to me. Anyway, we were talking about how they got their success, what works, what doesn't work, the potential of everything, just where things are going with social media, and it was mentioned how, you know, it's funny. They said that YouTube, when they said that recently in certain surveys, they've found when they compare what jobs people want to do now in the future, whether they're adults or kids or whatever, they all say they want to do YouTube as a number one option. And I laugh. I said, it's not surprising, man, because it gives you a chance to live your dreams on camera and share it and hope that everybody else appreciates your dreams. That's what this is. This is dream sharing, which is why it's so disgusting when people, you know, want to troll and act stupid. It's like, man, this people are literally putting out their personal energy out here and trusting people to behave themselves long enough for them to have a proper audience, which is why I say all I care about is the people who care. Anybody who's here to troll, you are non-existent. You will continue to be non-existent. You will never exist. And I don't entertain it. I only mention the word. I only mention the word because I'm working on myself to get to the point where I don't even say the word no more. I don't even mention it. I just act like it doesn't happen because it doesn't really. I mean, the only way it can happen is if I allow, like I say, that button. Now, if I said this many times. I said if they got rid of that button where you can't restrict people, man, I'd shut this whole damn thing down. Hey, respect first. Respect first. I'm not gonna be up in here, you know, in a straight up just festival of idiot. No, we're not doing that. No. That would get a lot of stuff happening if there were no restrictions, no way to, you know, shut it off and shut it up. You gotta be able to do that. It's very important. So I'm glad we can. And you know, but back to the real thing, when they were talking, when these two, you know, legendary figures, whether you like their content or not, because I admit I'm not a fan of I don't even know what to say about Beast content because it's not something I watch. I don't think I've ever watched one of his videos full. I may have watched a clip just to know, oh, really, this is, okay, never mind. You know, but I see why they're popular. Again, there's a lot of kids that are being babysat by YouTube. And their parents don't be watching what they're watching, so they're looking at adults be goofs, they're looking at other kids be goofs, they're looking at content that's not for them, which I have a big problem with. But that helps numbers immensely. That drives your numbers to the roof. Because a kid will follow you and forget they followed you, but at least the number went up. You know, that's how a lot of these folks are getting their numbers. I know because, hell, y'all tell you all the time when y'all be following me and I find out it's kid, I be like, look, this ain't for y'all now. I don't mind if your parents over your shoulder making sure whatever part of my content that is family you're getting a hold of, but everything else, unless they're, you know, picking through your personal trick or treating, I didn't invite you to my house and I didn't give you no candy because I don't, you know, I'm not here for that. Like I say, this is a very grown ass part of ONYXCON. We have other parts, and none of it was ever just for kids. We had stuff that we would do for kids when we had our event, but even then, it was never a kid event. I never said kid Comic-Con. No, it was never a kids Comic-Con. It was a adult-driven event that was family-oriented enough for you to bring your family. But it's really about mama, daddy, and uncle and auntie and whoever else that's into comics and stuff. You want to come cosplay, you want to come buy some stuff, you want to support some stuff, watch a movie, bring it on. And if you got the kids with you, keep up with them. We'll have a few little activities for them, but we never had like it was never a kids playground. You know, if I had more money, I probably would make a section that would be very, very kid friendly and make it a wonderland. Like there's a Juneteenth thing that happens in Atlanta. I say all the time, that thing may as well be Kids Bounce House Fest, because they got music on the stages for the adults to enjoy, and kids if you like to hear what they're playing. But for the most part, it's grown folk music. You know, it's old soul and hip hop and all kinds. It's you know, the kids don't even care about that. They be over in the bounce houses. I'm talking about they be, man, and they got so many of them. I've never seen, they rent so many of them. It's insane. It's like a whole maze of these things, and the kids love it naturally. And that's fun to see. You know, it's fun to see them happy. And I thought to myself, well, yeah, if I had the money to do ONYXCON again, I would tell my staff, because I would have a staff. I say that all the time too. I'm not gonna run it. I don't want none of that stress no more in life. It's too much. I earn my stripes. I sit back and approve. I just want a big ass stamp. I always say this, and I mean it, because when the day comes, I'm gonna get me a big stamp. It has my logo for ONYXCON, my name or signature, and that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna stamp papers, digitally and otherwise. That's all I'm gonna do. Yes and no. Bow, 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 bow. Don't ask me. I'll tell my assistants or whoever, tell them why I said no, but I'm not explaining myself. And that's the way it ought to be, because I done earned that. This wouldn't even exist if I hadn't created it. So we're not playing that game. But yeah, I can't, you know, I'm not doing it for those reasons. So I don't mind, like I said, if I had the money, I would do it. But it would be a part of it. Hell, if I had the time, the money, and y'all would support enough, if this channel got monetized enough to where I could start a separate channel and be like, ONYXCON Kids, I'd let somebody else run that. 'Cause I don't want to be in the headache of, you know, selecting appropriate content. I don't think in that way. So I'm not trying to have to think about that. You know, I'm not a parent, I'm an uncle. You know, it's kind of like that. It's like my connection to the child mindset is an uncle's perspective. Yeah, might do some stuff that makes them entertained and have some good time for a minute, but then give them right back to mama. Yeah, okay, here go your babies. You know, uncle's here to teach some lessons and keep it moving. You know, because he too busy got to do with all this grown stuff he dealing with. But he'll make time to do a little something like I do. I do that here. If you think about it, it's like I got my shorts that, like I say, I know they appeal to kids, and I know that's why kids sometimes follow and like to watch, because I got these cool shoes, I got toys and stuff. So, you know, it's like that. All right, y'all. I'm out. Hey, how you doing?